Let's learn how to play a few different melodies using two strings. The first song we're going to learn is Starlight, Starbright. At first, we're just going to play it on one string, the E string, which is the second closest to the floor. And we're going to use three pitches. The open E string, the third fret of the E string, 1, 2, 3, and the fifth fret of the E string. And if you look, you might see a little dot showing you right where that fifth fret is. Now don't press down on the dot, press down on the string nearby the dot. And if you're getting kind of a clunking sound like this, you might not be pressing down hard enough on the string. So check to see if your thumb is on the back of the neck. That'll help you get a good squeeze. And think about pressing the string down to the wood. Try to get the string to actually touch the wood of the fretboard. So again, here's what the fifth fret should sound like. Not like this. Like this. Here's what that third fret should sound like. Not like this. Like this. Now I'm going to play the entire song all the way through. At first, just listen to it, and then when you're ready to play the full song, come back to this part of the video. I'll put a link so you can get right to where I play the full song. Here we go. Ready, and... This song has 4 phrases, and in the printout, which you can get if you click on the link in the description, the phrases have 2 colors. The first and third phrases are blue, and the second and last phrases are red. Now let's just play it one phrase at a time. I'll play first, and then you play after me. Here's the first blue phrase. Give it a try. Now that phrase should have been pretty easy. If not, no worries. Just pause the video and try it a few times. Now here's the red phrase. Now there's a couple different ways you might have done that red phrase. You may have just used one finger to switch between the third fret and the fifth fret, and then back to the third, like this. I prefer keeping my pointer finger for the third fret and my ring finger for the fifth fret. That way I don't have to look down at my instrument. I can just play it like this. So try it both ways, and whichever you're most comfortable with, play it like that. Now the third phrase is just like the first, so we don't have to go over that. And the last phrase is very much like the second, except the rhythm is slightly different. So here's the last phrase. Now I'm going to play the entire song again, but this time there's going to be one small difference. Let's see if you can tell what that small difference is. Here we go. Ready, and... Could you tell what that small difference was? The entire song, I only pressed down on one fret. I only pressed down on the third fret ever. The rest were open strings. Instead of playing that pitch on the fifth fret of the E string, I actually played an open A string. So watch again really closely. So go ahead and pause the video and try the song like that, using the open A string instead of the fifth fret. And when you can play it that way, congratulations, you've just played your first 2-string melody. Now let's play another 2-string melody. Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Let's keep with the star theme. I'll play it once all the way through, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Here we go. Ready, and. Now there are just a few parts of this that are a little bit tricky. First is your thumb has to remember when to switch strings, and always remember to hold down the same string that you're plucking, or to remember to pluck the same string of the fret that you're holding down. And sometimes you can actually set up the next note ahead of time. Like for example, in the beginning, you've got 2 open E's, and then you switch over to the A string on the 2nd fret. So really you could just keep your pointer finger right here for the whole beginning of the song. And that way you can just be free to think about your thumb switching. Another really tricky part of this is going to be when you're going from the open A string to the 4th fret. 4th fret of the E string, I should have said. And that happens in that 2nd phrase, that red phrase. That red phrase goes. Now you could set up that 4th fret of the E string ahead of time, but you have to be careful that your fingers go over the open A string, otherwise you're going to accidentally mute it like this. So they have to kind of curve over so you can play the open A string. So you could go. So you can set that 4th fret ahead of time, but it's a little bit tricky. Those are really the toughest spots of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I think you'll understand how to play it. It's just going to take some practice. I have one more 2-string melody for you, and it's called Ode to Joy. I'm just going to play it all the way through for you. So here it goes. Ready, and. So this one uses the middle 2 strings, the E and the C. And it starts on that E, and there's really no colored phrases that I have here. I just kind of have it all in blue as one. So 0, 0, 1, 3, 3, 1, 0, 2. When we're switching from 0 on the E string to 2 on the C string, that could be kind of tricky. So you might just want to practice going back and forth until you got it. Any spot that's giving you trouble, just pick that small little spot and practice it over and over until you got it. So have fun learning these 3 melodies using 2 strings. Practice every day, because the more you practice, the better you get and the more fun it's going to be. I'm Mr. Klotz, reminding you to keep on making music.